then you're part of the revolution. Welcome to the new world. I'm your host, the Ratchet Revolutionary Palmetto Star, but you can call me Prophet. Hit me up on Twitter at Palmetto_star. Happy Malcolm X Day, everybody. Happy Malcolm X Day. It's such a beautiful day. I'm out here in the blacked out. My people, make some noise. Let them know that you're here. We're live right now. So we live all across the world. I got my brother from Nigeria, actually, my nigga from Nigeria, Ernest Paul, he's on the line as well. But what are we talking about? What are we talking about on this Malcolm X Day? 10 people just got shot in New York by a crazy pink power terrorist who went in and killed these people. So militancy has to be on the top of our agenda. Militancy and being aware of what's happening right now. You know, we have to be aware at all times. So this Malcolm X Day is a very special Malcolm X Day. And also it's a very special Malcolm X Day because I have the honor of having Rashida Strober, who I love her work. She's an awesome content creator, a writer, and she is just an amazing person. So,
well, first of all, I want to say thank you for inviting me. It's kind of like last minute. And I gotta say, I'm not used to doing interviews this late, so this is a new experience. I'm very, very excited though, and I'm very happy to be here. I'm very happy to honor Malcolm X. And I just gotta say this, one of the reasons why I'm very honored to honor Malcolm X is because Malcolm X, what he did is in line with the goals and objectives of dark-skinned activism. He married a dark-skinned black woman. I know that some people might hear that and go, oh my God, what are you saying? But one of the reasons why I started dark-skinned activism, which is to get to the word what darkism means, is because I just feel like in America, black people, particularly black men, in my experience, have gotten away from the essence. And the essence is the dark-skinned black woman. Before invaders came into Africa, the natural place of the black man was with the dark-skinned black woman. And I would argue that the darkism, what some people would call colorism, did not exist. Only when invaders started to come into Africa and disperse us to the rest of the world did we get this function, this concept of colorism and darkism that is destroying us. And so for me, my mission is to bring the black man back to the dark-skinned black woman. And that's one of the reasons why I'm in love with Malcolm X, because that's what he did. He married a dark-skinned black woman and showed black men the blueprint. This is how it's supposed to be done. And I love him for that. Like, I completely adore him for that. That's probably, to be honest with you, one of the main reasons, not to mention his intellect and his sincerity, because once he converted to the Nation of Islam, it was no looking back. So I know I'm kind of going off on a tangent, but to get to what is darkism? Darkism is a term that I created because when I was a graduate student going to the University of South Florida, one of the things that I was focusing on is the colorism scholarly literature. And while I respect and appreciate all of the scholars that develop the colorism scholarly literature, and while I respect and appreciate the founder of the word colorism, which is Alice Walker. She coined the word colorism. One of the things that I noticed is that colorism did not go far enough to define the unique struggles that dark-skinned people face. And I was looking for that in the scholarship, in the literature. It didn't exist. And so when something doesn't exist, we got the power to create. So we can say, hey, we can come up with words and terms and books to define a particular concept, a particular experience, and that's what I needed to do because nobody had done it. Nobody was doing it. And so darkism is a word that I came up with actually about 5 years before I even wrote the book Darkism. And it just simply means the discrimination of dark-skinned people. And it hones in laser sharp on dark-skinned people's unique struggles, which, like I said, the colorism, skin tone discrimination, literature did not do. Racism could not adequately define it. Colorism could not adequately define it. And I felt that I needed to come up with something to focus on darkism. It's simply the discrimination of dark-skinned people, and it occurs in a myriad of ways, socioeconomically, politically. I mean, we would be here all day talking about the different ways that darkism occurs. But that's pretty much what it is.
I know.
Okay, that's what's up. That's what's up. I like this. Thank you. That was a great idea. Mike's idea. All right, to get the mic so you guys can hear me a little bit better, because I know we are working with data technology, just to put it simply. But yes, that is an awesome definition, awesome word, awesome term. Like Malcolm said, we got to get the language right. We got to get the language right. You know what I'm saying? So Malcolm was was very big on language. You know what I'm saying? So darkism clearly, it clearly captures the thing that a lot of people are going through right now. Now you write as well. You have a couple plays, and yeah, you definitely are doing it. So can you tell people about your writing? Well, first of all, tell people how you got started doing this. How you got started really getting into what you're getting into, but I want to know about your plays as well. So can you tell people about your plays?
Absolutely. Well, where can I start from? Just growing up as a dark-skinned female, I noticed as a little child the difference in the way that the dark-skinned people with nappy hair was treated in my family versus the light-skinned people with good hair. And I noticed that the light-skinned people got better treatment. They received gifts, compliments, praise, money. They even had a better socioeconomic circumstance. While the dark-skinned people in my family, particularly, I was one of them. I grew up with 5 brothers. I don't have any sisters. I was just treated bad. I was called all kinds of names. We grew up in poverty. My grandmother, may she rest in peace, but she did not like me because I was dark-skinned, and she made it known. I grew up that you gotta respect your elders. You can't talk back. So if she said something to me that was mean, I couldn't say nothing back. So I internalized all of this, while at the same time trying to understand why. My burning question was, why was I being treated differently for having, in a negative way, for having dark skin and nappy hair, versus the people in my family who had light skin and so-called good hair? I wanted to understand why. And so that's really what led me on a journey to start this thing called dark skin activism, which is actually the first movement in history to fight to end what some people call colorism and what I call darkism. So what I started to do is, in my family, I would go to different family members' houses and I would try to get them to talk about this, and they would get upset, even to the point of saying, you know what, you need to get out the house, you need to leave. And so I needed an outlet. And so I started to eventually write about it and use my own experiences, my life experiences, as fodder for plays in the performing arts. And so I started to write books about dark skin, specifically about dark skin. I started to go in the community in St. Petersburg, Florida, where I'm from, and at every opportunity I was given, talking libraries, churches, schools, wherever anybody would have me. And I wanted to hone in on dark skin. I wanted black people to I wanted to make people uncomfortable and angry. And that's what started to happen. People started to get pissed off at me and like, what are you jealous? You a hater? And I heard it all. Nothing people can say to me can rile me. I just said, you know what? This is what I'm meant to do. And so that's really where it started, trying to understand that. I remember I have a light-skinned person in my family, one of my brothers that hurt me so bad I'll never forget. They would come to town, and he had just, I hope he don't hear this, I just gotta tell the story, I ain't gonna say your name. He had a Benz, and he would allow my light-skinned cousin with the good hair to practice driving in this Benz, and I would just sit back and I wouldn't say nothing. I would just watch all this stuff, and it was just so hurtful, and I was just like internal, and I just needed an outlet. So that's really where the plays started to come from, because I witnessed a lot of the dark-skinned people in my city, people that I grew up with. Their outlets was the streets, drugs, alcohol, sex, prostitution, and I just said, you know what? I knew deep down inside I'm too good for that. Sometimes when you have a little bit of narcissism as a dark-skinned person, it could be a survival mechanism, and I use that to steer clear of all the vices that some dark-skinned people get caught up in and end up in prison, because there's studies that have shown that dark-skinned people get more prison time than their non-dark-skinned counterparts. The Villanova study, for example. Same thing with dark-skinned children in the school system, more harshly punished than their non-dark-skinned counterparts. Also, I worked in the school system as an educator. I received my master's degree from the University of South Florida, taught at the college level, taught in the public school system, fought all types of instances of educational darkism. So it all stemmed from just my childhood, and I needed an outlet, and I needed to be constructed, because what I saw in the world is that people expected dark-skinned people to be the stereotype, to be at the bottoms socioeconomically and politically. It was expected, and I said, no, that's not how this is going to go down. We're going to do this a different way. And so I started to write. So I wrote a play called The Dark-Skinned Woman's Revenge, and I did write that play out of pure anger and rage. But again, I love the performing arts, and I love the written word, because you could take that anger and you could turn it into something constructive that can help people through the written word. And so I wrote the play, and I would do readings around the city in St. Petersburg, the libraries, and it started to slowly pick up steam. This was before the social media and internet and all this kind of stuff. And then I wrote another play called The Dark-Skinned Girl's Triumph, the Rashida Stroker story, about how I grew up in poverty. I was homeless, had to fight through that. Just having the struggle to be somebody in America. As a dark-skinned person, you do have to work harder. It's not easy. There is no dark-skinned privilege. And I wrote that story. It's in the form of an audiobook. It's on YouTube right now. Wrote that and just started self-producing my own plays, and over time was able to get people that believed in my work to this day to finance my plays and stuff like that. I used to struggle to finance my stuff, but God bless me, I don't have to do that no more. I've been very blessed because of social media. So I decided to take stuff from St. Petersburg, because they was looking at St. Petersburg as a different animal. Black people down there, they don't really like each other. They kind of like still under the Jim Crow racist type of thing. So black people, if you talking about dark skin and hey, you don't like me because I'm black, they don't like that in your face stuff. And I'm a type of in your face person. I'm gonna tell you this is what it is. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, I don't know what to do with that. I just gotta keep moving. But the people in my city, they didn't like that. So social media came along, and ironically enough, the white press would cover me. They would put me on television and talk about skin tone discrimination. But black folks would just be like, we don't want to hear this. And so when social media came along, I decided to take what I was doing regarding dark skin activism and bring it to a worldwide audience on social media. And as a result, a lot of stuff happened in that time. Went viral, didn't try to do it. I had a radio show I was doing where I only talked about black men dating non-dark skinned women, primarily black men in the entertainment industry. And I would just go in on them. This was before people started doing it. And then I said, I'm gonna bring this to YouTube. And then I started counseling what I call victims of darkism. People would contact me and start telling me their stories. Light-skinned people, brown-skinned people, dark-skinned people. So I started doing darkism and colorism counseling for free for years. And then so one day, this young lady who had been a victim of darkism, her boyfriend had left her for a light-skinned woman, but he would come back to her and get money from her and give it to the other woman. And the dark-skinned woman was distraught about this. So I had been counseling her for about a year online. So one day she comes to me and she said, Rashida, what you think about Kendrick Lamar and his new fiance? And I was like, I don't listen to Kendrick Lamar. This, that. She said, well, go look and see who he married. I said, okay. And so I went and saw it, and I just made this post that ended up going viral to millions. Charlamagne and the Breakfast Club, I got a problem with them. Angela Yee, she's light-skinned, privileged. They went in on me, made me donkey of the day. People was upset and angry, and it was just viral. And they said, what the hell is a dark-skinned activist, and who the hell are you to talk about? He was with her since high school, and I just wouldn't relent on my position because this is what it is with me. This is my new paradigm. We're going to talk about this, and I'm going to force you to talk about it, and I want you to be uncomfortable, and I don't care if you're angry, and I got the death threats, and I went through that for years. Tommy Sotomayor, some of y'all might know who he is, ended up reaching out to me. I didn't know who he was at the time in 2014. He said, come on my show and talk about your dark girl agenda. He gets me on there, baits me. We get in an argument about Kanye West dating Kim Kardashian. And it's a big argument, and then me and him, we've been going back and forth for years now. In fact, I'm in litigation with him right now as we speak over this darkism thing. So anyway, bringing it to the internet was a good and a bad thing, because as a result, everybody said, you crazy for talking about Kendrick Lamar and light skin. And now people have built channels and they're making money off of colorism and dark skin online as we speak right now, even pimping it on reality television shows, the colorism concept. Whereas I got dogged for it. So, but this is something I've been doing since, social media started. But the good thing is it forced black folks to be uncomfortable and to expose the big elephant in the room that we don't often want to talk about. And for me, I wanted to be focused on black men choosing light-skinned women over dark skin. I wanted to make y'all uncomfortable. I gotta be honest. I wanted to make y'all mad, because I was mad for years, silently. So let me make y'all mad. Let me make y'all upset. Let me piss some people off. And I've done a pretty good job of doing that. So that's where all this came from. So I do my plays on my Dark Skinned Woman's Revenge. I've done it at the DC Black Theater Festival. I was on the first Atlanta Black Theater Festival. Shout out to Tony. She's the founder of that. Reached out to me and said, hey, come on and perform. Did that, won a couple of awards for the performances, which really I'm an artist, but at the same time I realized people was kind of like more interested in my raw commentary, just talking shit about dark skin, and that's what I did, because that's what was in me. That's what I was doing with my family, and they was rejecting it. And I said, let me take this to the internet. It's an audience for this, and sure enough, it's a worldwide audience, and I've been able to help people all over the world. So I ended up writing a book called Darkism: 25 Ways Dark-Skinned People Are Discriminated Against, which was my pin-up personal stories of being in St. Petersburg, experiencing what I call darkism, where I talked about, for example, going into the Chinese restaurant. That's one of my favorite stories to tell. And I walked in there one day, and I stood there and waited, and then a light-skinned person and a white man came in there, and they immediately said, hi, how you doing? While ignoring me. And I was just enraged, but I would never say nothing. I would internalize it. And I said, let me write about this. And it helped people. And I realized that I was helping people when I did a show in Texas, in Fort Worth. And there was a young man that he drove, like, I think it was a city away. And he had been following me on social media. And he came and he worked in corporate America, very studious, dark-skinned young man. And he just walked up to me and he said, I take your book with me every day to work, because now I know I ain't crazy. This thing that I've been experiencing. And then I went to Jacksonville, and I met this young lady at this black-owned vegan restaurant. They walk in there and we start talking. And I go to my car, because I usually carry my books with me, and I give her a copy of the book, and like, I want to say about 6 months later, she sends me this long text message thanking me. And I was like, okay, I'm helped understand that what you're experiencing is real, and it's been operationalized in a book form, because that's what we have to do. We have to define our experiences
we have to do it. We can't allow other people to say, this is what it is. No, this is what I'm going through, and this is how I'm going to take control over my own oppression. I forgot the person that wrote the book, Pedagogy of the Oppressed. But that book is a very important book because we need to deal with, our pathology. We need to deal with our own mindset, and we need to define our own solutions and not allow other people to define it for us. So darkism, dark skin activism, all this stuff comes out of it. And like I said, long story short, it's widely on the internet right now. I've done more interviews than I could count all over the internet with all kinds of people from all over the world spreading the information about dark skin activism. My website is darkskinaactivist.com. People call me and just be telling me their stories, keeping me on the phone for a long time, just telling me their stories. And then, it's evolved over time because I was married to a pitch black, dark skinned black man for 10 years. We ended up getting divorced. I don't chase men. I tell dark skinned women, hey, I don't care how black and ugly people think I am, I don't chase no man. They have to come after me. That's how I go. I ended up getting with a light-skinned black man. We got married, and people are now very angry with me for that, and I have to just clear that up. I didn't go out here looking for no light-skinned, and he came to me because that's how it works. But I love black men. I like dark skin, light skin, brown skin. I like black men. So that's it's a lot. I might be here all night talking about this dark skin stuff.
Well, let me do this. Let me say this.
Because you talk a lot about stuff that makes you angry and upset and mad and unhappy, and I get it. Because as a dark-skinned man, we go through a lot of that too. We go through a lot of it, and I've definitely been through that. But you have done a lot of work. You have done a lot of work, and so I want to do something right now. I think that'll make you a little bit happy.
Oh. What's that? Okay. Uh-oh. Surprises.
Let me get this. She wasn't here to
initially get the reward. I was trying to get her to come here so she could get the reward. But in any case, she is here, and because she has done so much work for the community, so much work as far as people understanding that there is the dark skin thing, because it is a psychological effect that comes with dark skin. So with doing that and changing people, transforming people, that is Malcolm's spirit. That's what he's doing in this day and doing. So the theme of this year's Malcolm X Day is modern day Malcolm, and we're saluting everybody that does it like Malcolm with the Do It Like Malcolm Awards. So it is an honor of me to present you with the Do It Like Malcolm Award 2022.
Look at that. I'm so happy. I really am. Like, internally, I'm so happy. Give me a hug. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'm going to treasure this. I'm so honored. I'm like almost speechless, and I'm never really speechless. I love me some Malcolm X. Like, oh my God. Thank you. Thank you. I am so honored. I'm going to cherish this. Because Malcolm X means the world to me. I was introduced really to Malcolm X. My father was in the Nation of Islam for 30 years. And I would go to my mother was a Pentecostal Christian. And sometimes she would let me go to his house. And when I would go there, my dad he would have these tapes, in a tape recorder. And I'm looking at Malcolm as I'm talking because I'm having memories. And he would let me listen to Malcolm X, Louis Farrakhan, and different prominent people in the nation. And I would just sit there. We didn't watch TV. I would sit there and listen for hours and hours and just listen to it. And then I remember when Spike Lee, shout out to Spike Lee, when he came out with the movie Malcolm X. It used to be a
theater in St. Petersburg, Tyrone Mall Theater. They tore the theater down. But me and my light-skinned cousin, who got all the good stuff, I love her to death. And she know I be talking about her. I love her to death. It ain't her fault that people was, putting light-skinned privilege on her. But anyway, me and her went to the movies, and we saw Malcolm X together, and I was transfixed. I think I must have been 13, 14. I was transfixed. I was like, oh my God, I just literally fell in love with the Malcolm X. And what impressed me the most about him is once he transformed, it was so sincere and so real. Nothing fake, nothing watered down. It was all or nothing. He never looked back. And I've been looking for a person like that, to just that level of sincerity. It's hard to find. It's very difficult, especially in the social media age now. We're living in social media where people can get views and get paid for exploiting black issues and that kind of thing. So it's kind of hard. So Malcolm, and then I ended up going to undergraduate school. Anytime I got an opportunity to write or speak about a black person, because oftentimes as a political science major, I had to read major white European political thinkers and get engrossed in their philosophy and their theories. So whenever I got a chance to choose, I would always choose books about Malcolm. I just want to know about Malcolm and talk about Malcolm X. So I love this man so much. So this award means the absolute world to me. And I have to reiterate that my second reason why I love Malcolm X so much, because he married a dark-skinned black woman. That's just what it is. He married a dark-skinned black woman. Visually, that spoke to me. It's just like, that's what it is. That's how it's supposed to be. And so he epitomizes what I want to see in black America, with more black men. Not all, I'm not saying that all black men are going to exclusively marry and date only dark-skinned women. That's not reasonable. That doesn't make sense. But I want to see more of it. And because of Malcolm X setting that example, I believe it's possible. I believe it can happen. I've even had what I call them darkists, reformed darkists, email me and tell me how they didn't like dark-skinned women. And, they would use them and they would do all this stuff, and they are reformed. I even had black men email me and say, you know what, I used to be with a white woman, but I came back. I watched your videos and I came back, and now we married. So I know this works. So it's just like, the propaganda. There's a book that I also love called Manufacturing Consent. Noam Chomsky, the author of that book. And that book talks about how the media, unlike third world countries using brute force to make the people do what they want them to do, America doesn't do that. They use the media to propagandize and to construct preference. So that's what's happened with black people. The preference has been constructed from the time the black man was born. They see these images and then they grow up and they go. So what dark skin activism is serving to do is to do the same thing, propagandize it. And social media is just perfect for it, because you got the videos, you got stuff like Instagram, Facebook with the visuals and that kind of thing, so we can reverse the damage. It's a lot of work, but I see the fruits of the labor. I can see it. It's very tangible through the people that have actually contacted me and told me their stories. Some of these people I actually met with in person, where they actually looked me in my eye and said, "This is what happened." I'm just like, you playing right into what I want you to do. But that's my form of manufacturing consent, of constructing preference, because that's what, to be honest, that's what Christianity, they did with Christianity. They did that for years and it worked. It did a number on black folk, and we still trying to get over it right now. So we got to do this. We got to do the reverse of that in our own way. So Malcolm X is one of the people that's at the heart of that. That's why I respect him so much. I learned so much from him, just his life, the person that he was and that he became, and about transformation. So I know that anybody can transform. That's another lesson that I learned from him. He went from one end of the spectrum to a completely, totally different, changed man. So it's possible. So I'm like so honored, and I'm so grateful for this award, and I'm gonna treasure it. Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, you know, you see the fruits of it. That's why you got the award, because I also saw how you were transforming people. So I thought, you know, I would be apt just to do it. You know, just to give you that award as well. What size shirt you wear?
Medium to large.
Okay. I'm gonna get you a Black Supremacy shirt as well.
Black supremacy.
Okay,
All right.
Yeah, one of those too. So that's what's up. So we're here with Rashida Strober, creator of Darkism, and I just love her work and love what she does. And she has been like ruffling feathers, you know, talking about Kendrick Lamar and all of that. But you know, the thing is making a difference. You know, whether you go viral or not, you know what I'm saying, like that difference and changing people's lives, that matters. You know what I'm saying?
That's
And also the thing about they see it and as they see fit. And I think that's, and you saying what you were saying, like, you know, they give us all these things. They tell us, you know, what to like, what to eat, what to drink, what to, you know, what to do, all of this stuff. So it's like, we had to define that for ourselves. And it's such it's a process of doing that, because a lot of people are still mentally programmed. Even the most awakened and enlightened amongst us still have those layers of programming about preference, about, you know, different things that they just automatically go to that was given to them and was less of a choice, but more of something that they were conditioned into. So what can we do right now to condition our people into what I would call Black supremacy, what you would call, you know, something like, you know, more of a awakened state, I would say. What would you think would be the first steps into awakening our people?
That's an excellent question. I think it starts with education. I think social media is great, but I think we kind of got away from, to me, some of the purest forms of education is reading and also attending lectures from, you know, scholars, learned people. So in order for a person's mind to be changed, I believe you have to be educated. You have to understand why it is that you even need to change. You have to understand that there's a problem. And you're not going to know that there's a problem until you start to willingly educate yourself. So for me, everything starts with education and educating our children. That's like so huge. I know that's so cliche-ish and people say it all the time, and I just feel like we don't do it enough. I feel like black people go along to get along with anything in this country, even if it's killing us, even if it's genocidal. And I believe we got to stop doing that and take control and do it our way in order to release ourselves from this oppression. So we got to be honest with our kids and educate them about the good, the bad, and the ugly, and if they're intelligent enough to be able to separate what they need to separate out in order to make good decisions. So it's just education is literally the main thing for me. Another thing, I strongly believe that your mind got to be clear and clean. That's another reason why I love the Nation of Islam, because you can't be doing drugs, you can't be drinking, none of that. Your mind got to be clear and clean. Fasting and meditation and eating healthy, and again, steering clear of even weed. I don't think you should do none of that. I think your mind should be completely clear. So we got to stop using things to make us averse from reality and face the reality, the ugly, dirty, nasty reality, because that's the only way you're going to get out of it. And so it's cleansing your body and your mind. Those things for me, education and cleansing your body and mind. Because how can you free yourself from your situation or even understand your situation if you are drugged up or if you are drunk? It doesn't make sense. How can you free yourself from your situation if your body is, you're not putting the right things in your body food-wise, and you're unhealthy and you're sick? It doesn't make sense. So taking care of yourself, not doing drugs, not drinking, taking time to meditate, and educating yourself, that's the key to understand why it is that you need to do what you need to do. Why do we even need a change? Because I think some of us don't understand. We'll sit there and we'll listen to somebody because they sound good. That's these so-called leaders. They sound good, they look good, or they're funny, and that's why you're going along with them. But you don't really know why. You got to look inside yourself internally and see what's going on here. Examine it for yourself, and then come back to the table. In Africa, there was stateless societies. So before the invaders came in. So black people are perfectly capable of thinking for ourselves and then coming together and conversing and coming up with ideas to better our situation. We don't have to always be, we got this concept of, I need a leader. No, you can lead yourself. You're intelligent enough to think for yourself and lead yourself. And come to the table with other people, and we're all equal. So that's where I think it starts at, cleansing your mind and your body and educating yourself.
And that's awesome, because that's exactly what it's like. We need to understand certain things, because see, a lot of people have, they want to get out of the situation that they're in. They want to, live a more fulfilling life. They want to do these things, but they have these hidden blockages that hinder them. You know what I'm saying? And drugs and alcohol definitely being one that was put upon the community, another vice that was put upon the community, as opposed to us pulling that out and showing us. So yeah, but that's what it is. But I want people to know where they can find you at, online and in the streets. Yeah, let people know, because this is a profound woman right here. She's definitely doing her thing. I love her work. I've been following her work for a minute now. We've been Facebook friends for a minute now. And she came out last year's Malcolm X and claimed Malcolm X Day. And I just love what she does, and I really appreciate it. So can you tell people where they can find you at, online and in the streets?
Sure, absolutely. You can go to my website, darkskinactivist.com, darkskinactivist.com. At that website, you can download a free ebook copy of my book, Darkism. You can download it on your phone, tablet, whatever, and read it wherever you at. That book, it will probably always be free. My email address is on my website. You can go to YouTube. I'm right on YouTube.
Yeah, she's all the way on YouTube.
You can go to Facebook. You can go to Google and just type in Rashida Strober, and all the information you want. I'm literally like an open book. I mean, it is what it is. Not hard to find at all. So that's pretty much it.
Well, I appreciate you and everything that you do, and that's why we awarded you the Do It Like Malcolm Award, because you got to award your people that you see doing these things. You know what I'm saying? Don't sit and just let people do stuff, and don't tell people that don't take a minute or a moment with somebody that you love and don't express that to them. You know what I'm saying? tell somebody that you love them every single day. You know, let them know that. Let them know that you love them. And so I'm showing my honor and respect because I definitely love exactly what you're doing. I definitely love that.
Thank you.
So we got Rashida Stroper here in Atlanta. She drove all the way from Florida. Okay, she came all the way here from Florida, and she is just such a wonderful, beautiful being. All that melanin. Look at that, so beautiful. So I'm just so glad that she came here and that she was able to bless us with her presence and give us that word, because she is somebody that's out there transforming, and that's why she's getting this Malcolm X award and the Black Supremacy shirt. She's definitely doing her thing. You guys check her out on the internet and all over. I'm gonna play this track from Ernest Paul. This is what he was talking about. You know, we're doing the show a little bit differently because it is Malcolm X Day. Malcolm X Day. We're claiming Malcolm X Day. We're not asking permission to claim Malcolm X Day. So I'm gonna play this track. This is The Heat, and I just want to encourage everybody to spread the message, awaken others, and win the revolution within. It's too raw for people.